radio1045.com. In the Liberation Way Performance Studio with Nahko in Medicine for the People. A trio today, full band on stage tonight at Festival Pier, the Summer Good Vibes Tour. I
You got it.
messed it up. No, because
You're
summer
hired.
doesn't go first. The Good Vibes Summer Tour 2017 with Revolution and 3 or 4 other bands
Hi,
tonight.
Reed Collie Buds, yeah.
Yeah. 2. Math is not my strong suit.
Okay, it all adds up.
When you get on stage tonight or even today, though this is a little bit different dynamic than sort of the big shows, do you ever stop and think back to the first time you hopped up on stage and performed publicly and like the vast difference in how that feels?
Yeah.
Can you compare, contrast a little bit, or do you have a story about?
I just ran through in my mind like all the times, and then like back to like doing piano concerts, you know, like when I was like 13, and then thinking to like the footage that I just uncovered of like my first open mic. And then I thought to when me and Max started playing together at all of the farmers markets in Portland, and that's on YouTube. And yeah, like then the first real show, I don't even know when that was, but what's the question though? Has things changed?
How's it feel? How's it feel now versus then? Does it even feel like that was you, or do you feel like you've just evolved into this different?
It's definitely a trip. I would say that now there's far more responsibility, you know, in our lives to this work. I think when I think back to those days, I'm just in awe that we are doing this like this now. I don't think any of us really, except for Tim, because he was a professional before all of us.
It's not true. My first time on stage, I was 5. I cried and ran off.
That is not on YouTube. But I don't think at that time, even the first stage that we played on together, or you know, the open mics or the street performances that we did for years, farmers market style, roots, acoustic, just like you're seeing now, that we ever thought that like a touring musician or like this lifestyle was not even in our consciousness. I didn't even know it existed, to be honest. I didn't know how people did it. I wasn't even thinking about it. I was just playing. We were just hanging out. We were playing, make gas money, food, go to the co-op, you know. And then all of a sudden, life was just like, you better get your stuff together because it's about to go down. You know, a series of very fortunate events, I would say, including fans making videos that went viral and us sort of loosely putting up videos on YouTube that now have millions of views. There's a genuine casualness, I think, that's portrayed that is truly us, that is desired, I think, in our line of work. And we continue to roll with that because we still the same.
That's cool, because you do hear a lot of stories about bands feeling pressure to constantly be funny or entertaining or come up with all of this new stuff, keep everybody engaged, but from a very unorganic, or would the word be inorganic, sort of standpoint. So it just feels so, you know,
Some of
so
that's
natural.
just not sustainable, but I think we approach it from a different, more holistic approach, that this is to us, this is more than like surviving in an industry and writing songs because we have to. This is more like we still do this for fun. We're going to be doing this for a long time, and we're just going to create what we like and, you know, give it to people and not burn ourselves out. I feel like Tim wants to say something.
Yeah, I do. I was going to say one of the biggest difference for me in terms of like when I was starting out and now is understanding the responsibility that comes with what we do. I think that's the biggest difference for myself. It was like before it was always for fun. It was always like, yeah, this is cool. But now it's like we have a responsibility because we have a platform.
What is that responsibility, Tim?
That's a whole conversation for another day.
Try it, one sentence. Let's see if we can do it.
No, I think you could do it. I'm not that good with words. But understanding that, we have a platform that we can speak out on issues, and so on this tour we've been speaking a lot about the salmon issue. We've been working with the tribe, the Winnemem Wintu tribe, and doing a campaign to get finances raised for them to get their salmon back in the Mount Shasta area. just being able to use our platform to do some good. And I remember when I first got into the music industry, it really sucked. It sucked to me that it was just all about numbers, and all promoters and anybody cared about was numbers. And then when I joined this group, I realized that it is a numbers game, but for a different reason, because the more people we get to listen to this music and the more people it changes, the better we can make this world. So.
Yeah, I mean, music is a universal language that we can all agree upon, and poetry and harmony, put them together, can do powerful things, right? It can bring countries together, it can bring families together, and it can also heal more than it's. I was just that statement of medicine. Medicine heals doubt, as it does diseases and our bodies, and I think music is that our purpose in that, I guess you could say. Max, do you have anything to add there, brother? I feel like he does.
What's up, guys? I definitely do. I think this coming winter would be actually our 10th year of playing together, which is pretty cool to think that it's been a big full circle. And one, to add on your question about the difference between, the past and the present, Nahko and I would say even now, this message would carry through. We had this little motto: if we move one person in the room, we've done our job. And I used to love that because we would play in these old bars and we'd play for young kids or all these different crazy environments. And it really stood true. Usually would have one person that would come up, and we look out to now, like thousands of people, Red Rocks, we just played 10,000 people, and it's the same thing. We're playing to one, and I think that's an important message for artists as well, because as Tim was saying, the industry can get thick, for artists to remember the message inside and that the universal language. So cheers to that.
I think you guys put it, yeah, absolutely, clap. I think you guys put it in a way that a lot of people would have a hard time taking sort of that concept and putting into words, and you do that incredibly well.
Thanks.
You really do. I want to talk about new music because I'm going back to the theme of teasing a little bit, because that's been going on. I'm just lifting a little bit of it, but from, I think it was an Instagram post. I can promise you things are going to get trippy when it comes to the new album. Album number 4, correct? I just want to use that as a launching off point.
Yeah, well, this is the first conversation I've ever had about it in public, so you guys ready?
Ready.
What am I going to say? I'm joking. Yeah, well, you all will be the first to hear that this is a record that it's a compilation of songs that I wrote from the ages of 18 to 21. I have this whole back catalog of music, and before things got any deeper into the Medicine for the People catalog, before we started working on Medicine for the People's record number 4, I decided to bring out a solo record and call it this name that I'm not going to say yet. Maybe I will. We'll see. We'll see how I feel in here. And it's a prequel to the records that everyone knows. These are the songs that helped write the Aloha Keakua's The Good Things Coming, The Budding Trees. And it's beautiful to me because it had a stretch way back, 12 years ago or more, some of them. And there's still songs that I really feel, and they have deep stories of transformation and like leaving home, first love, coming of age, ripe with all the coming of age, vibes in it, and traveling, diving into Kerouac, and the reason that I say it's trippy is because 90% of the songs were written during or after a very psychedelic experience, because that was the time period of my life. And so they are, just with deep downloads, uploads, if you know what I mean. And it was also like, I was relearning my relationship with the spirit. I was raised very Baptist, very, very Baptist, and so when I left home and went to Alaska, I relearned my connection to nature, and had to. I mean, it took me years to shed the religious box that I was in, and was able to find my way, and these songs are certainly a part of that journey. From Alaska to Louisiana to back to Alaska to Hawaii, and I think it's a good point for our fans who know our music to know that these songs were all written before I met my mother, which is a big piece of content in a lot of our previous records. The search for identity, the understanding of family and broken homes, and coming to terms with all the different bridges that you build in life. And so the Medicine records definitely have some very politically themed, ideology, I would say. And this record is a record you could listen to, not know who Medicine for the People is, and dig it, and be like, oh, easy listening, I guess you could say, because it's not like it's not really a record that we're trying to make a certain point on that platform, It's kind of cool going back, and I was like, is this song really cheesy? And I'm like, no, it's actually brilliant. Let's just work it up a bit and make it really cool. So, yeah.
I was a genius. And I know, without pushing, but I think on the internet there would be a lot of people who would be mad at me and in this room if I didn't ask if you have a timetable in mind.
Sure, yeah.
When you're it's very alluring to hear all about it, the prequel and the story behind it.
Yeah.
So then comes
I'll
the
give you the
question
deets.
of when.
So also just to mention that even though it's a solo record, the band's playing on it and the band is touring it. For me, in the concept of our records and our anthologies, it seemed appropriate to make it a prequel as such, and so that's why it's a solo record. But so the release date, I believe, is October 20th, and that really doesn't get announced for another week. I might even get in trouble for saying it, but whatever. Also, should I share the record name right now? What's the deal? You guys want to know? We'll give that as the surprise. How's that? Because it's a statement from my previous self, the person that I was and was knowing to become. What's in a name, And so I named the record My Name is Bear, because when I was born, I was given a name by my mother, Joel Miguel Nakwese Perena Mendiola. Long name. My grandmother gave me my native middle name, which means bear. And when I was adopted, my new family gave me a new name, and they named me David, but they kept my two names. They said David Joel Nakwese Bell. So I grew up as David until I was 19, and I went to Hawaii, and I met my land partner that I would stay with for 10 years on the Big Island, and he's like, wait, your middle name's what? I was like, it's Nakwese. He's like, that's so cool. Why don't you go by that? I was like, people are never going to be able to spell it and say it. And then we just were like, oh, it's just Nahko. There he is. He's just a little fella. So there it is. The record's called My Name is Bear. And out in October following a tour. Boom.
That's really exciting.
You guys got the announcement. Well, announcements.
Worldwide exclusive. No, that's really.
You heard it here
that's
first,
really
folks.
Exciting. I feel like we're learning so much. I feel like I don't even need to be here. I just want to let you keep talking. I just want to let you just keep talking. I'll ask you one more question and then I'll let you go. we discussed this a little bit before we started. We're in the midst, Radio 104.5, in the midst of a tattoo contest is what we call it. But every
ready?
year, everybody gets the opportunity to. What did you say? I missed it.
I said, are y'all ready? We got ink and pen.
Yeah, no.
Students.
And there's cameras and it's it's such an just like music, just like it's such an expression of of who you are and what you stand for. And sometimes ink is silly and fun, right? And sometimes music
And
is
regrettable.
silly and fun. And regrettable, yeah. And sometimes it's really super serious. And we have a bunch of music-inspired tattoos. I keep finding myself as I'm flipping through the galleries of everybody is submitted already, and we're in the like voting phase. So they're all up on radio1045.com.
What do you win if you get chosen?
$1,000.
Oh, what?
Yeah. For more ink, I'm guessing. I mean, you can use it.
And you got to be Philly-based, right?
The submission period is closed now, Nahko. Next year around this time.
Oh, man.
But I just obviously you have some great art, and I wanted you to say what you felt like saying about it today.
Sure. Well, as for me, tattooing is about preserving culture, and I am most recently, I guess, in the last couple of years, and all of my work that's been done the last couple of years has been done by a guy named El. He's from a tattoo shop called Spiritual Journey. It's in LA, and he's Filipino, and so am I. And so many cultures, way back in the day, had a form of a traditional form of preserving their culture through tattoo work. And so for me, it has become far more than just, I guess, expression or storytelling, although that is the foundation. But it's become a way to preserve an old way and be an advocate to other Pacific Islanders to look into their own ancestors' way of preserving their culture through the art of tattoo. There is a deep mystical magic in it too when you get into that kind of side of it and consider what they mean, the symbols and where you put them and how you tie them together. And the beauty of the Four Waves tribe, which is the form of Pacific Islander tattooing crew that is revival to the old way. Oh man, I lost my train of thought. Anyway, that's the whole deal. Is that for me? Is that in that way, and also encouraging anyone and everyone to look into a deeper way of bringing to life your story, your ceremony, and how you tell that story. So. Yeah, that's the deal. I just recently got these face tattoos, and when I got up and looked in the mirror, I was like, oh my god, there's no turning back now. I was like, dude, this is really thick, bro. Like, what's the heck? And but this is the tradition of it is that this is an old Filipino tattoo, and it's meant for vision, for deeper vision into the dimension. And the top line expresses the sky, Father's sky, and all things above. And then the bottom line is for Mother Earth, and all things below. And then the middle thin line is for the horizon. And as far as the eye can see, the interdimensional world. And I will tell you that oftentimes when you go into those places and you have an intention for something like that, you can get schooled by your tattoo. And after I got it, I had some really intense things going on in my life. And my auntie was like, well, that tattoo is about vision. You asked for it. And I was like, oh, bumbleclot. Okay. So, anyway, stories.
Well, if I had a vote, you would win the tattoo competition. Man, I can't thank you enough for being here and sharing music and stories. And it's such a nice, and I think music always is that, but it's such a nice break from reality, from the real world, but it also makes you think about our real world too. So it's so cool to be in these four walls and spend this time with you and with all of you. So thanks for being a great audience. Thank you for being here. We can't wait for the new prequel record and for the tour that will follow. You do have a few more dates on the Good Vibes Summer Tour 2017 on the East Coast, but here tonight at Festival Pier. I feel like I'm forgetting everything, and we could spend all day here in this room.
She got it all, though, right? Yeah.
I think we did pretty okay. We for the tip of the iceberg. Max, Tim, Nahko, you guys, thank you so much. Really, thanks for being here.
Thanks for having us.